everybody. I'm not sure that took, so we'll start over. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to our final week of basically CT physics is what we're, or image creation, whatever you want to call it. I just want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you. You've done a great job throughout the semester. I really enjoyed leading this class. I've always enjoyed leading this class because it's a tough subject matter to take up. But you guys have done a great job. I've watched the grades. You guys are doing really well, and I will miss teaching this class after you guys are done. But I know I get to teach it, next year, so which is good. Going to go over kind of chapter 13 and 18 to kind of go over everything with you. Once again, I'm going to focus on chapter 13 first. Chapter 13 is it deals with a lot of the different things that we can do with a CT scanner. Bear with me here. I'm late at night and I'm just it's been a long day, so I apologize if I kind of stumble over my words, but it's kind of been one of those days. But it's been good. It's been a good day. 3D dimensional tomography, CT tomography, is very cool. It's volume imaging. It's with a multi-slice scanner. The things that you'll see a lot of this would be the musculoskeletal CTs, such as a elbow, a knee, a shoulder, something along those lines, that the patient is going to be going to surgery, and that's the ones that you create the 3D images that are colored. Now, again, like I said in my previous video, the color images are non-diagnostic to a radiologist. The reason they're non-diagnostic is because they don't give a grayscale. The doctors, specifically the radiologists, want to see that grayscale because they can put ROIs in it, which is a region of interest, and find out the Hounsfield units, find out what they're working with. However, with that said, the 3D images do help the surgeons. They can find out if it's comminuted fracture, if it's displaced, if it's non-displaced, if it's simple fracture, where to put the screws, where not to put the screws. If they're working with a huge, like aggressive tumor that invaded the bone, they can determine where to cut the bone, where to maybe place the rod if they need to do that, different things like that. So it is very, very helpful. So the key thing about chapter 13 is it's great to read. It's interesting to read, especially with the volume imaging part. But the coolest thing is have a CT tech in your clinical rotations sit down and show you how to build a 3D image. You can use a CTA like of the aorta, thoracic aorta, into the abdominal aorta, something along those lines, especially if the patient has a AAA, which is an abdominal aortic aneurysm. If they have such a thing, have them show you how to build that 3D image. It is very cool, and some of the scanners are kind of older. Some of them maybe the 64 slice scanners and slower. They may build their 3D images a little bit more manual type, to where you actually have to go in and you actually have to find the contrast portion of the CTA or of the bone and grow it out itself. Now, some of the faster scanners, for example, I know Gibson Area Hospital has a 160 slice scanner, Toshiba. It will actually grow everything out on its own. You just have to hit a button, it'll grow it out, and then you cut it out to what you want. It's a little bit faster, a little bit more user-friendly. I personally like to grow my own 3D images. I'm old school because that's how I was taught. I don't want a computer doing it. That's just me. It hasn't, if you guys, I know there's a lot more technology out there nowadays, even some I'm not familiar with. But if it grows on its own, perfect. Just make sure you get the doctor what they need. So that kind of wraps up chapter 13. The coolest thing about chapter 13 is, like I said, go to the CT scanner and try to grow one out yourself, and it is very cool. I know I'm a nerd, but bear with me. Chapter 18 gets into QA. You've probably seen techs do this. Usually the lead tech will handle this, but you do a complete QA scan either every day, every other day, once a week, once a month, whatever the manufacturer of the scanner recommends for that specific scanner. They'll go over spatial resolution, they'll do contrast resolution, they'll run different phantoms to make sure that the dose is appropriate. They do an array of QA, and it's all kept in a logbook. TJC, the Joint Commission, states that you have to do that. The state of Illinois states that you have to do that. I'm not actually sure if the state of Tennessee has us do that or not, because one of the things about the state of Tennessee is you do not need a state license as of right now to practice radiography. That will change probably in the next, I would say, probably a year, because they're going to require it. You know, if a accrediting body is requiring to do QA, you have to prove to them that you do that, because it's going to prove to the physician that they are getting diagnostic images, and it's going to prove to the state that the physician is getting diagnostic images. It's kind of a big circle. It all wraps around the diagnostic portion of the circle. So that's there's a lot to it. Some of the QA cannot be run by a technologist. It has to be run by a physicist. So sometimes they'll come and usually, I want to say it's every 6 months, once a year, they'll do a complete dose test on the scanner. They will check the pixels on the monitor itself. They have a machine that actually does that to prove that the monitor is have the appropriate luminance of the manufacturer as it should state. And they run a battery through test, and you have to keep that on file as well, usually in the director's office, or if you have an in-house physicist, that's who keeps all that, and things, go from there. So that kind of wraps up chapter 18. Chapter 18 is kind of a basic chapter. When you do go for your CT registry, QA is one of the sections. It is very easy to get comps in there. I suggest you guys learn how to do it and go with that. As soon as you get into your CT clinicals, that's when you would want to start digging into your QA portion of it. Moving into chapter, 14, 15, 16, I believe, or no, 15, 16, 17, excuse me. We did skip over chapter 14 because it has to do with PET. Gets very complicated with PET CT. I do know we have some nuke med techs in the class. If you guys would like, there's a QA question or QA section on Cobra. Go ahead and chime in there about how PET works if you would like. It's not a mandatory thing. You do not have to do that. But I have noticed in the past when we start talking about PET CT and different things like this and some of the nuclear medicine portion of CT where it incorporates each other, it gets very confusing for everybody. But week 8 is going to be busy. There's 3 chapters. It means there's 3 homework assignments and 3 quizzes. That's why I opened it on the first. It's going to give you guys plenty of time to do it. But this is going to be the final product. This is going to looking at images, looking at anatomy of the images. It doesn't get real in depth with it, but it gives you the basics of cross-sectional anatomy. We'll get more into detail in XCT 212, which is cross-sectional pathology. We'll also discuss, obviously in the title, we'll discuss pathology with it. So it's very cool. So this is the last week. So we're basically taking from week 1, how we create all these images, to today, which is the start of week 8. And you come up with an image. So you are going to look at your product of what started at the beginning. This is your final product of actually a CT image. So go through it. Enjoy it. These chapters are meant to, kind of spark your interest in cross-sectional anatomy and cross-sectional pathology. Some of you will find it very interesting. Some of you won't. Some of you think, well, I'm not going to do CT, so why do I need to do this? Well, these courses, they count for hours that goes to the ART, so you can sit for the registry after you graduate. Because ART says you have to have X amount of hours didactic to sit for the registry. So that's what this is for. It's really going to open up a lot of doors. And the reason we want to do this is because a lot of employers out there want dual modality registered technologists. A good example would be myself. I'm registered in 3 modalities: X-ray, CT, and MRI. We have several hospitals here in East Tennessee. All of them want the technologists that they're going to hire to be registered in CT or an ultrasound, one of the other. If you're not registered in that, they will not even look at your application. Now, I have not followed up with Central Illinois how that is working. I do not know. You would want to ask probably Tammy regarding if that's the case. She would have a lot more adept information on that. But I can tell you it is going that way. A lot of the employers are wanting dual modality technologists. So do not stop. That's my key thing to you guys. I will create another video. This one's going a little bit long, but the next video will just kind of give you some advice on, it's going to be a short video to kind of wrap up the entire 8-week course. There is a wrap-up discussion I would like you guys to participate in if you would. Kind of give me some advice, how you like the course, how do you like the videos. I have heard from one person that said the videos were really nice, they enjoyed them, but they've been fun to make. I really enjoy this technology thing. This is actually something I learned in my doctorate program. Didn't even know it existed till this gentleman showed us this. We had to make several videos, and it was really neat. So we uploaded on YouTube. I've got my own channel on YouTube. That's how I embedded into Cobra. It's really neat. So that way, I'm 600 miles away from you guys, if not more. Some of you are way up north, but I can sit in my den here. As you can see, we're ready for Christmas. We're getting that. We're getting around that. But that's kind of why it's cluttered behind me, like you haven't seen in the past. But it's really neat. I can make these videos and kind of tell you what you need to know. And so that way it's not real hard, because, my classes aren't made to trick you. My classes are not made to, be real hard. I mean, if you do the book work and you look through the different vocabularies of everything like this, you should get an A. It should be pretty simple, but at the end of the day, you should learn something too going through these steps. And that is my big goal. And if you are not learning anything, by all means, let me know, because I want to know how I can improve these courses regarding what's going to help you learn CT. So I will make one more video, probably finals week of next week. I can't say it's going to be on Monday, because Mondays are very packed, because I start giving finals at East Tennessee State University as well. So at some point in time, I will make another video, and we'll get it posted on here for you guys. So again, if you have any questions, send me an email, give me a text, just give me a call, whatever, or we can set up a time to talk on the telephone if you would like. But let me know if you have any questions. But other than that, have a great week, and I will talk to you guys very soon.